Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me, as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who may cry devil, and who last night cried, "Give me another shot, Terry." Steven. What's up, buddy? How you feeling?
What?
Do you have a rough night?
Okay, first of all, who is Terry?
He's your bartender who gave you all those shots last night. That's why you're wearing sunglasses. You got a hangover.
For the record, I don't drink. This isn't a hangover. The only crazy night that I had last night, as of recording this, was that we played Division for like 5 hours.
Gee whiz, did y'all stream all that 5 hours? I saw y'all were streaming.
We streamed for 4 hours of that. But James and Jeremy just wanted to keep going, and I was all about it because I love that game. But I have been recovering from a kind of sort of cold this week, and it moved to just a headache this morning. Like when I woke up to go to work, my head was just pounding. I just took some medicine, and now Jake's like, "Hey, come record the podcast. Come sit in front of all these spotlights." He didn't say any of that, but I like to blame it on him because it's funnier that way.
I mean, in a way, it's my fault. But Steven was like, "I'm going to wear sunglasses, Jake, so I'm just going to look hungover," and I ran with that.
Yeah, I had the sunglasses just because, like, whenever I'm working at church, if it's sunny out, I just have the sunglasses, and then I put them up top on my hair because my hair grows way too quick to keep it out of my face. And so I realized I had sunglasses, so I was like, okay, I'm going to pull these down so that these lights don't make my headache worse. So here we are. This is the closest you'll get to a hungover Steven, and it has nothing to do with alcohol.
Since we're talking about, like, you know, headache and sickness problems, I had a tooth that I had to get a root canal done last year.
Yeah. And
out of nowhere, I guess it was Friday, it started hurting, like really bad. So I was just like, man, you know, I hate that it's, you know, we're coming up on a weekend because I really need to go to the dentist. So I'm just going to have to tough it through this weekend. Well, Saturday, or maybe it was Thursday when it first started hurting, and then Friday, the tooth below that started to hurt. So like the opposite tooth was hurting. And like in certain cases, that's like not uncommon for like if one tooth in your mouth is hurting, it'll have like reflective pain where it'll make you feel like the one below it's hurting and stuff like that. Like that's not uncommon. So I kind of was just like, okay, that's whatever's going on. Well, then Saturday, just my bottom tooth hurt. So like the one that wasn't hurting originally but started to hurt. And then about midway through, I realized that a certain spot in my jaw, like if I touch right here on my neck, it hurts. Like my whole neck hurts, and that one tooth, like I can feel that tooth being affected by touching my neck. And so today, just my neck hurts, and I don't know what's happening to me. So I'm going to a dentist tomorrow, if you're watching this live, I'm probably at the dentist, but anyway, crazy.
Going to a dentist for neck pain. Now I've heard everything.
It started at a tooth, and now it's at my neck, and I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? All I know is I need to go see Terry at the bar, but that's not what we're here to talk about. This is ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about that Super Bowl commercial for the Falcon,
all the
and Winter
Disney
Soldier.
Plus shows.
All the Disney Plus shows. There was a Black Widow one, but maybe I'm not paying enough attention to Black Widow. But I feel like every trailer I see for that looks exactly the same.
It's because it is exactly the same.
I feel like it shows the same clips, and like, hey, sure, every trailer kind of does that. But I feel like I haven't seen anything new since the first trailer dropped for that. But
I feel like even though I'm not paying attention to the plot of Black Widow, like in the trailer, I already know exactly what's going to happen, like in every single scene. Like just seems like it's going to be really predictable.
We might talk about that a little bit then. But then we're also going to talk about the price for the PS5, which is being they have not announced it, and the headline is that they're waiting on Xbox to kind of name their price before they name theirs. Yeah. So we'll see and talk all about that. But first, some housekeeping. We have, first off, it's Valentine's week for anybody, so just a friendly heads up. If you got anything that's going on, with a lady friend, you better get to getting something. You know what I'm saying? You got a week. All right, you better nail it down. Get some flowers, get some chocolates.
You got less than that. You got like 4 days.
I'm telling you, you ain't got no time. So you better just start running.
Also, you got like 4 days to get me a birthday present.
You do.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna get you, Steven. I'm probably just gonna
You don't have to get me anything.
I'm thinking of what's a game that you've been wanting me to play that I could. I'll just play Monster Hunter with you at that day, at some point on that day.
Okay, that could be the combo gift for me and Brody.
There you go. I guess if I have time, because that is Valentine's Day. But anyway, first off, you got to get that done. Second off, because it's Valentine's week, we are hosting a special forward compatible this week, and by we I mean Steven is hosting with his lovely wife Anna. They're going to be playing a game that Steven from his past that he will be reviewing. Steven, do you want to talk a little bit about what y'all are going to be playing?
Okay. So we had this thought, and coincidentally, we had this thought before everybody was like campaigning for Anna to have a cooking stream on the channel. We knew that she was going to be in some content coming up, but basically, I had this thought of like Valentine's Day, the month of February. It makes me think of like in the world of playing video games. It makes me think of like finding a good co-op game, like a good couch co-op game to play with your significant other, or to get your other single friend who will never find love, much like you, to play with you because you're both forever alone. That's kind of where I was for a while. But
way to keep it light and positive, Steve.
Well, you know me. One of the great things about wearing sunglasses like these is that you can't tell when my eyes are closed and I'm like half napping while I'm talking. Like, where am I even looking right now? You don't know. I'm looking there. Like, you had no idea. So we decided to play a game called Castle Crashers. Those who know about this game probably have some words about it. Like, it's one of those that you probably recognize the characters, like the multicolored knights, and you may have played it a little bit because I think it was like a Newgrounds game or something for a while. I don't remember. But then they released it as Xbox Arcade, and without going too much into it, because that's what the preview's for. Anna's never played this game. She has no idea what she's in for. So we'll see what happens. So we're going to be doing the review together as well. So we thought we would celebrate Valentine's Day by doing a husband and wife video game review of a game that has no fewer than 4 diarrhea jokes. Because that's what we're in for.
That's what love is all about.
That's what love is all about, joking about diarrhea.
I mean, love is, in a sense, diarrhea. It's just all those emotions just coming out, unbarred, unfiltered.
Yeah, but in the song "What Is Love," the line "diarrhea," all the emotions coming out didn't really make a good song, so they just turned it into "Baby Don't Hurt Me." Like,
yeah. I mean, diarrhea can hurt. Anyway,
I hope you felt that silence. I hope you did.
So forward compatible this week is going to have Steven and Anna playing Castle Crashers. So that's going to be all week long. If you're unfamiliar with forward compatible, that's kind of a series that we do every now and then, at least once a month, where Steven plays a game that he hasn't played in at least 5 years. We do a pre-review where we kind of talk about what he remembers about the game. And then we do Steven streams all week long playing the game, usually to completion. We haven't had one we haven't been able to complete yet, but typically to completion. And you can. So I
highly doubt that this will be any different. If we can't beat this game, I'm going to be disappointed.
That's where I'm at too. Like y'all are going to beat it. I'm not worried about it. But he streams it to completion, so you get to see the whole process. And then the next week we post a review. So it's just kind of a fun thing. We'd like you guys to be a part of it. Definitely join our Discord, which you can do in the description of this video. Because we want to hear your thoughts as you're watching the game be played, and that sort of stuff. So it's a big fun series we do around here. So, and we just did a Star Wars one, so we're back on a non-Star Wars forward compatible again.
We can't keep that pattern going up for long. In fact, we may have finally reached a point where we've run out of Star Wars games for a little while.
Probably for a little while, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, so that's going to be all week long, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Probably Thursday and Friday is where it starts to get questionable because it really depends on if they've beaten it then or not.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, here, Steven, I need you to beat it before Friday because does everyone know what Friday is? Yes, it's Valentine's. Yes, it's Steven's.
It's my birthday.
It's Steven's birthday. But more importantly than all of that, it's the release date of Dreams, okay? And I am very excited to be...
I didn't know that.
I am very excited, yes. It is the release date of Dreams. So I am hoping that you will be done with Forward Compatible before Friday so that Friday I can do a Show Me Your Dreams is what I'm going to be calling this series instead of Play My Maps or Play Your Maps. It's going to be Show Me Your Dreams. And I will be playing through a bunch of levels. Kalen, if you're watching this, he's one of our mods. I need you to start curating me a list. I know he's been working on it for a while. But if you are somebody who's been using Dreams during early access or whatever, and you got a cool level or a cool whatever you want me to experience, or if you jump in the game Friday too and have found a cool level that you want me to experience, send those my way as well. And anyway, I'm going to do a stream where I just jump from dream to dream and have a great time. So, anyway.
You could just call the stream Dream, the Dream Stream.
The Dream Stream is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Dream Stream, but I kind of like share your dreams. Show me your dreams. Because I don't know. Because they're showing me their dreams. This is my dream. Yeah.
I have a dreams. Do you dream? The Dream Stream?
All right, working title. We'll figure it out. But anyway, I'd like to stream.
The Jake story.
All I know is I am trying to stream Dreams on Friday, and if you want to send your dream my way, I will play it. All right, so it's gonna be a great time.
So how does Dreams work? Like, let's say we wanted to do it like we've done Far Cry Arcade. Is that possible, or is it just only one person can play a dream?
I don't know, because the game's not out yet. I am intending this first one to be just me because I figured you would be busy, but also
Ooh.
I want to get to a point where it's a Far Cry stream where we're both in the dream doing whatever, but I don't know how the game works.
I just thought of the perfect title.
Okay.
Your Dreams Come True.
Okay.
The Dream Stream. Dream. I have a dream. Do you have a dream? This is the Dream Stream, the Chortle Games story, based on the novel Pushed by Sapphire.
It sounds like the Rick and Morty joke of two brothers. And a van.
It's just called Two Brothers. And
Fighting
old ladies with their tomato guns.
Old ladies, tomato farmers.
They're coming. And you bet your bottom dollar that they've got a bond, a deep bond, and old ladies are coming.
And they're going to fight them.
And they're going to fight them.
I think that's all the housekeeping I had, but I'm just going to move on. Let's talk about at their Super Bowl, Steven. Y'all didn't go to a Super Bowl party, right?
We watched Jackie Chan Adventures at our friend's house instead of the Super Bowl, and it was much more entertaining.
That sounds way more entertaining. I loved Jackie Chan Adventures. That's fabulous. Well, I didn't watch the Super Bowl so much as the Super Bowl commercials. There were some great ones. Have you seen Baby Nut, I assume, at this point?
I haven't seen any of the Super Bowl commercials.
Oh, Steven. Okay, well, you know Mr. Peanut, right?
Yeah, he's dead.
He died. And he's back as Baby Nut. And he's just a little baby peanut, much like Baby Groot or Baby Yoda. And I am here to declare to all of you that 2020 is the year of the baby. All right? We've got Baby Gru now. We've had Baby Yoda. Now we got Baby Nut. Who's next? You know what I mean? Baby Jake is probably going to make an appearance at some point. I don't know. It's all going to be baby time. All right? 2020, year of the baby. Anyway, I won't talk any about those other commercials. Let's get to the real fun. When I saw the Winter Soldier Falcon, I'm going to keep calling him Captain Falcon, trailer, where it like shows the shield stuck in the tree, and it opens from the shield, and it slowly reveals the rest as Sam grabs it. As that popped, I was sitting there munching on some chips, and I kind of saw the star, and then I realized it was a shield, and I saw Sam's hands go in, and I was just like, "Whoa, everybody shush!" This is important content. What did you think, Steven, of the trailer?
I thought that. Are we just talking Falcon and Winter Soldier right now, or are we talking all of them?
We can. I mean, it's one trailer that has all of them. But if you want to focus on Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm good. I'm good starting there. We saw.
I like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I like their dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I still strongly disagree that Sam having the shield. It made more sense from a plot narrative standpoint for Bucky to get it, and that would have been more interesting to me. But I'm gonna watch the show, and it looks like I'm gonna enjoy it. But I don't know. They didn't really show us too much of what to expect. It's probably just gonna be basically a buddy cop movie in the MCU, or a buddy cop series in the MCU.
Right. Yeah. It definitely looks. It looks like the next Captain America movie to me. Just with what they're looking at. We saw Sam throwing the shield around, training a little bit. We saw some dudes para-dropping in, so I wonder if we're going to see a little bit of Sam's history, before he was a Falcon pilot or whatever, which would be interesting. Or it could just be, a separate team or the bad guys bombing in. But we see him in his normal Falcon outfit, so he hasn't completely ditched all of that. We saw Zemo again. Somebody's got a bunch of bullets, and they drop it in front of his hands.
Oh, that's Bucky. That's Bucky dropping bullets because it's his metal arm if you look closely.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. Well, anyway, they're going toe to toe. Bucky does not look happy with Zemo for whatever reason. So,
well, the way I interpreted that, which I thought was interesting, was that Bucky was basically pointing a gun at Zemo's head. And then the bullets dropping are him basically saying you're not worth the bullet or something like that, to where he's acting like he's going to shoot him just to get in his head, and then he's just just kidding, there are no bullets in this gun. So kind of a twisted way of saying I'm better than you. I've risen above the need for revenge, which seems like an interesting thing to reveal in a trailer.
Right.
Because you'd think that they wouldn't show him dropping the bullets. You'd think that they'd make you think that Bucky's going to snap and he's going to kill the guy out of revenge. Or maybe they're making us think that he won't, because they showed the bullets dropping, so it's pulling the double switcheroo where he's dropping the bullets and he's I dropped all but one, bang, shoots him in the head, Bucky gets his revenge. How wild would that be?
That would be definitely the twist of the century. Who shot first, you know what I mean? I'm more interested, I think what we've seen of Falcon and Winter Soldier looks good. I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah, it looks like a by the numbers what you'd expect from a Marvel TV show, which isn't a bad thing.
Exactly. It's going to be good. I'm more curious about WandaVision.
I have a lot of thoughts for WandaVision.
Well, let me walk through just kind of some stuff we see. Again, very, very short. I mean, it's a 30-second trailer altogether for 3 shows. You know what I mean? So we're not getting a whole lot of detail. But basically, we see Wanda and Vision in different sitcom settings. So the first one we get is kind of an I Love Lucy look, and then we get kind of I forget who almost a what's the name? Goldberg, something like that.
Brady Bunch is what you're probably thinking.
Maybe so. The Brady Bunch kind of look with her like iconic comic book costume, which I think is kind of funny.
Okay. Yeah, that one I've seen people draw a comparison to Modern Family.
Yeah, Modern Family.
Yeah.
Basically just a bunch of different sitcom looks. Like there's another one that looks like present day. It does look like something from Modern Family. But anyway, we see them in a wedding dress and in a suit. There's a scene where they're standing and they kind of are like, and if you look close enough, there are pacifiers that are flying through the air. So it's
2 cribs.
It's possible they might have kids. There's some of the Brady Bunch looking ones scenes. She looks pregnant. So, what do you said you had a lot of thoughts, Steven. And we know this ties into the next Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. So we were told that it ties directly into Doctor Strange, but that could have changed now that Scott Derrickson departed the project. Mm-hmm. But we're assuming that there will still be a connection.
Right. What do you think about it?
How familiar are you with House of M?
Is that where Wanda dies and Vision creates a new family?
No.
Okay, all right. That's the only comic book that I am familiar with in regards to this series.
I've read House of M. Is the one you're talking about like the more recent one where Vision creates a Vision family?
Yeah.
Okay, this is from early, like mid 2000s, maybe. Scarlet Witch, I forget what caused her to break at this point, but she basically went into solitude and created this. Basically went to the recesses of her mind and created an alternate reality, and actually ended up enacting that reality to where she changed everything. Like everyone got sucked into this reality. Like she basically tried to make everyone's ideal existence. For example, Uncle Ben was alive in this reality, so Peter had to deal with seeing Uncle Ben again and all that stuff. In this reality, she was happy. I think this may have had something. I'm gonna have to backtrack a lot. Okay, so at one point, Wanda and Vision did have kids.
Right.
They were obviously not created the traditional way. Ask your parents why.
What's the traditional way, Steven? How does that work?
So Wanda ended up creating those kids, and they didn't have a soul, if I remember correctly, and those kids would become Wiccan and Speed, which were 2 of the Young Avengers. But at one point, Mephisto took the kids because they didn't have a soul, so she lost the kids, and that may have been what spurred on House of M. It's been a long time since I read House of M. And in House of M, she kind of has a psychotic break, and it all culminates in Wanda basically realizing that mutants are a problem. Mm-hmm. And so she utters the words, "No more mutants." And Wanda is so powerful that just by uttering those words, and her powers were at a peak, that like 95% of the mutant population lost their powers. And this is in the canon 616 timeline. And it was this way for like 6 years.
Wow.
That pretty much all of the mutants lost their powers, except for a select few, the big money makers, Cyclops, Magneto, Wolverine, they all kept their powers.
Right.
And actually, that is what led up to Avengers versus X-Men, because at that point, the last remaining mutants all joined together, including Magneto. They were all just banding together, and they created a civilization where they could all go and basically have their own order. Mm-hmm. And then the Phoenix Force started coming back to Earth, and that's what created the ripple between the Avengers and Captain America and Cyclops and the X-Men. Because basically, the Avengers were like, hey, remember the last time Phoenix Force came here? It almost killed everyone. And Cyclops is like, yeah, but maybe if we wish on the Phoenix, it'll bring the mutants back. So they fought over what to do about the Phoenix Force, and that's what Avengers vs. X-Men's all about.
Gotcha.
So all that being said, there is I'm getting a huge vibe from WandaVision of basically Wanda going into the recesses of her own mind, creating an alternate reality where she and Vision can be happy through the lens of TV shows that she grew up watching. And they have 2 kids, just like they did in the comics. And I'm wondering, how wild would it be if they were taking from House of M and No More Mutants? And what if the show culminated in her reaching such a power threshold where she did the opposite? And she created mutants because she didn't want to be alone. I don't think that'll happen, but how crazy would it be if that was how they did it? Because it would be kind of like a flip of the script where instead of her being in mourning and alone in the comics through House of M becoming a bad repercussion for so many people, even though a lot of the mutants actually were thankful that they lost their powers because, you know, it's a crapshoot with them. They either want their powers or they don't. But you've got some that can, like, you know, fly, and then you've got others who their power is that they look and smell like a fart. Like, it's really a crapshoot with what you're going to get with mutant powers. So I think that would be really interesting if they did something like that, to where they really showcased that Scarlet Witch has that kind of power level. And of course, I've spoken out on like danger in overpowering characters, but with that, with her, it's overpowering a character to a really interesting degree, because with Captain Marvel, and I'm getting off on a tangent, stop me if I ever need to stop. With Captain Marvel, her power was always in control. Like she never had a downside to her power.
Right.
But when you have this character who, if they have one bad day, they can literally change existence.
Right.
That's super interesting, and you could really do something with that. So I'm curious to see if this is them going all the way with Wanda, to see if like this is her creating alternate realities, or if this is just her having like an internal psychosis or something like that.
I really like that idea. That makes a lot of sense to me. Of she has created this little pocket world, pocket reality, where she and Vision can be happy and can experience this, and then I can see how it would maybe start to go wrong and start to break apart and potentially
and I think
up
that's what was happening.
I don't know, some sort of nefarious purpose. I don't know that they'll introduce mutants through this show.
I don't think they will. Honestly, I think that what you were saying, like there being repercussions and like things start to go wrong. I think that scene where it's black and white and it's her in her like full color regular clothes, I think that's reality breaking.
Yep.
Like that's her coming to the real world and be like, no, I want to stay here a little bit longer. Now, what I think could happen, if we are going to assume that Wanda does have the ability to bring her perception into reality, so just reality warping, which is the coolest thing that Scarlet Witch can do, which would make sense because her powers look like what the Reality Stone does, the ether, which I always thought, anyway, if we are to assume that, and she is creating, not just imagining, what they could do that ties into Multiverse of Madness is that Mephisto was who took the souls, or took her children in the comics. What if we've heard that I think Nightmare might be the villain in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? So what if the repercussions there are that whatever she creates is taken from her through means of like, you can't create something without a soul, something like that. And her place in Multiverse of Madness is basically to save what she brought back. So we could almost see Vision being returned, or maybe her bringing kids into existence, and then them being basically taken out of that reality into some kind of underworld or other reality where she has to go and get them from Multiverse of Madness, something like that. I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense to me. Well, moving on quickly, the last piece we get is a very short clip of Tom Hiddleston's Loki saying, "I'm going to burn this place to the ground," and it looks to be wearing a prison outfit with the initials. I want to say it's like TVC or something like that. TVX, something like that. I've seen a lot of people calling out the time variation force or something like that.
Yeah.
That's like a time police that they are trying to keep, the timelines intact, which I'm like,
yeah.
Where the hell were they in the Avengers? Like, why didn't they pop in? But maybe they're picking up the pieces of the Avengers and trying to get Loki back. So it looks like he's been captured by them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But what did you think of just that brief little teaser we got of Loki?
That's basically what I got. That one I did have to look up.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
But I think that see, I worry about Loki as a show because I love Tom Hiddleston. He is a great Loki, but his character is so one note. It's the same problem with other characters that I just don't see as a lead. They just don't have any range. Like Thor put it best in Ragnarok. I don't remember how he said it, but he basically said, "You've always been the god of mischief, and you always will be the god of mischief. You'll never change."
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And that's kind of how I feel about Loki as a character. We've seen basically his arc complete, going from tortured outsider who feels neglected from his family to villain trying to rise up to prove his worth to someone who finally redeems himself after stabbing so many people in the back. And it almost felt like anything else with the character would feel wrong. And now we're going back to the 2012 version of Loki where he
hasn't
was
had
the
any
least
of this
evolved.
development.
Yeah, like we're just going back to that version, and I'm just like, I don't know about this. It's one of those things where if we're about to get a show that is like completely focused on developing Loki a second time, I'm going to be really disappointed. But if we're getting a show that is going to be all about like timeline alteration and like keeping the timelines intact and stuff like that, and Loki just happens to be along for the ride, that could be really good.
Yeah.
So funny enough, as long as Loki's not the focus of Loki, I'll probably really enjoy it.
It would be interesting if it did take that route of, maybe they captured Loki, explained that he was an anomaly to the timeline, and then somehow he negotiated a way to work with them to fix the timeline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That might be interesting.
If they did, you just like lit a light bulb over my head. What if they did like in Umbrella Academy, what Number 5 did, where he worked for the Timeline Agency to make sure that a timeline, like he was given specific cases, like he was given specifically the case of the end of the world. What if Loki, they're like, to reduce your sentence, you are going to go make sure these things happen. That could be really entertaining.
I think so too. But anyway,
and then he gets teamed up with Owen Wilson because Owen Wilson's apparently in this show now.
That's right. I forgot about that. See, I think that could be really cool. It would become a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, that just seems really funny to me.
Yeah.
Like it's like having Forrest Gump, the movie, where he took part in literally every historical event that happened in his time span. But instead of Forrest Gump, you have Loki, the god of mischief.
With Owen Wilson just going, wow.
With Owen Wilson somewhere.
Wow.
That's great.
That could be interesting. But anyway, very exciting. Good stuff. Ready to see more of all that. Moving on, our next piece. Sony has not fully released... they haven't really come out and done much as far as a PS5 announcement. We still don't know a lot about it, but like release date and price. And apparently, this is coming from IGN. Sony hasn't fully decided on a price for the PS5 yet, and it seems to be because they're waiting for Xbox Series X to be priced. Obviously, they're two pretty big competitors. They want to make sure they don't overshoot or undershoot the other one. So I just thought it would be interesting. I mean, there's really not. We don't have any idea what it could be. They just kind of are saying they're waiting to hear back from what does Xbox do? You know, how much are they going to put out? But I thought it would be an interesting conversation, Stephen, of how much do you think the PS5 should cost, or rather, do you hope it will cost?
$400. $400 is like, I've seen people drop like, say, oh yeah, it'll probably be like 500, maybe 600, and I'm just over here just like, if it goes over 400, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, you remember the PS3 was $600.
I remember, and that didn't go over well.
It did not
at all.
So how much was the PS4?
I thought it was 400 or 300 at launch. I think it was 400, maybe 350.
Price at launch. Yeah, it was 400.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Let's do it again.
Look, I
bring it back around, Sony.
I think 500 is the most we could hope for, personally.
You mean the least we could hope for?
Yes. Yeah.
Like the cheapest? Yeah.
I think that's the cheapest we could hope for realistically. Just because, I mean, we're looking at how much was a PS4 Pro when that first launched? I'm looking at that too.
500. It was 500, I think.
See,
either that or 450.
See, that makes sense. PS4 Pro price at launch. Okay, wow. It was all right, I'm looking at this and it was 400 as well.
Well, that makes sense because it came several years after.
Yeah, almost 3 years, I think. I remember correctly, yeah. It was 3 or 4. Interesting. I feel like as much as these things just keep getting, I mean, heck, iPhones are crazy expensive now, and they just continue to go up and up and up with each iteration. So,
but at that point,
I would think 500, but I don't know.
But at that point, I feel like with phones and especially with Apple knows that they can charge such a high rate, and they basically charge anything and people will buy it.
Right.
With Sony, they make, and you could say the same thing about Apple, but Apple really makes the majority of their money through those big purchases because they, like iPhones and Macs are in such high demand that they can sell those and they're good. Like they make a profit. But some companies, and I'm trying to figure out if Sony is one of these or not, make so much money off of like secondary things such as accessories, memberships, game sales. Like you have to wonder if to them lowering that price threshold to a reasonable amount to where they get more people buying the games is enough
to justify the lower price of the hardware.
Yeah. To me, that would make sense because I honestly don't think that in today's market, the PS5 is going to be much more expensive to make than the PS4 was when it launched. Because we've come a long way, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that probably, and I'm speaking entirely just off of like, this is my gut feeling.
Right.
And like, I have no insider knowledge at all. But I just feel like that probably wouldn't have changed much, and so they could afford to charge the same price. And then, I mean, video games are not a cheap hobby.
Right.
They are frequent purchases, and I don't know. They could make a lot of money. It almost seems like it would be a worse idea to give that first initial high entry fee to get into where the position where you can start making those purchases. Right. Because if you make too high of a price at first, you're not going to have any like a steady income from a lot of people,
right?
Because they didn't make the change, which makes me think that if the rumors are true that they are waiting for Xbox, they're wanting to upcharge us. They're wanting to upcharge us, and they're waiting to see what the competition does. Because if the Xbox Series X, stupidest name ever, still whatever it's called, is that what it is?
Yeah. Xbox Series X.
That's the stupidest thing. Like, just call it like anything else. But if they are like 500 or 600, PS4 is probably going to match it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if they lowball it, PS4 is going to match it, because they know that their main concern at this point is not so much will Timmy's mom pay $500 for a PlayStation 5. It's will Timmy's mom get the Xbox if it's cheaper? And the answer is yes.
Well, and I like what you're talking about. I agree with what you're saying about how, and especially from looking at Xbox and what they're doing right now, they are making their barrier to entry as low as possible. And really, I think they're going to see a lot of success.
Barrier of entry is the phrase that I was looking for this whole time.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, sorry, I should have jumped in. But barrier to entry is so low with Xbox. I mean, Games Pass, you can get a trial for Games Pass for like $1 if you look at the right time. And then,
that's what I did. I got 3 months for $1.
Exactly. So like that gets you in, and I mean we talk about Games Pass, a fair amount. It is one of the best deals in video games right now, because all of their first party exclusives come to that. It's cheaper to buy that for a month to try a game you think you might like than it is to buy the game. So if Sony, honestly, what Sony should be worried about is matching that. Because if they sold me, if they came to me and said, "Hey Jake, PS5, $400, but we're adding this new thing called PS Now or whatever, where all our exclusives are coming to this, and it's $30 or $50 a month. What do you say?" I would jump on that. I would jump.
You would
on.
Pay $50 a month for PS Now if that's what it meant.
What is the Games Pass a month?
$5.
Okay, well then that. I couldn't do 50 a month, but if they like 10, 15 a month, whatever it was, to have all
15 would be reasonable.
Let's say 15. That sounds like a reasonably high number. But if they said 15 a month, and you get all of our first party games, plus we're gonna throw in some other stuff, and as long as you're on that subscription, you can play that. I mean, honestly, my PSN, that's like $60 a year. Like, I would, if they gave a combo of that would be what I'd switch to in a heartbeat. Because there are plenty of, I mean, I try to play most Sony exclusives just because to me it's like, okay, I have this system for these exclusives. I need to at least try them, Days Gone, great example. Yeah. I was, watching that and I was like, I don't know. And I thought, you know what? It's an exclusive. Let me watch it some more. Got really into it. Really enjoyed it. Days Gone, or not Days Gone. That's what I just talked about. Death Stranding is one that if that came with a subscription that I had already, I would have given it a shot. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I still wouldn't have.
By the way, Death Stranding is on sale right now for some reason. It's like $35 in the PSN. If anyone is interested, has been waiting to pull the trigger.
So you can pay someone to have to be a FedEx employee rather than just, getting paid to be a FedEx employee in the real world. Thanks, Kojima.
Anyway, interesting. So you're hoping for 400, and I'm going to say 500.
I'm hoping for 400. I'm about to buy a house though, so I'm hoping for anything cheaper. Would
you is 500 a deal breaker? I know 600 for the PS3 was hard, but is 500 a deal breaker?
Right now, yeah, at launch, I think, unless if I get a really good reason.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm not playing a lot of games with people on the PS4 right now, and like, I have a PC, so I can just
play whatever.
Do exclusives there, unless if they, pretty much.
All right. Let's catch up a little bit, Steven. What have you been playing or watching this week? I'll go first just to give you a moment's breath. I finished Children of Morta this week.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Really good. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was funny. We had talked about when I came over and we did a live stream together of the game. You were telling me about how John, the first character you get, the main guy, the dad, the sword and the shield.
Yeah.
He has an ability at the top of his tree that basically gives everybody a healing over time bonus.
Yeah, passive regen.
Yeah, passive regen. And I was like, I gotta get that. I gotta get this with John. Yep. So I started grinding John into dust.
Yep.
Never got him to that point because I grinded so hard that I beat the game.
Why didn't you just backtrack?
I did. I backtracked with John, and I did some stuff, and he was leveling. Then eventually he'd get fatigue, and so I'd be like, well, let me just throw Lucy into the next whatever chamber I'm on, and let's just see where she goes. Well, she'll beat whatever chamber that was. And so then I'll come back and I'll say, all right, let me get John. We'll go into the next, we'll go into whatever the next chamber is just to get him to grind because, those are going to be the most experience I'm going to get. And I was like, sure, he's not going to do it because, he's not prepared and I'm not good with John, but it's going to be the most, the fastest way to get XP right now. Well, then John I would freaking beat the next area with John. And it was just like, dang it, John. Like, come on. And so then I'd backtrack with John for a little bit. He'd get fatigue. I had him at 80% fatigue at one point, Steven.
Good Lord.
And for those of you that haven't played this game, you get fatigue if you play a character like a certain number of times. And like the first time you get fatigue, it's like 10% or so. And what that does is suddenly you are starting the level with negative 15% of your health. So your health can only go up to, what is that, 85% health?
Yes. Yes.
So it can only go up to 85% health. So I did that once, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to put him up. Like, I can deal with 15. I'm not trying to beat the level. I just need, to grind. So I would play him again, and it was like, okay, you're now at 30% fatigue. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll make it. We'll be fine. I just need him to level up. So I did that, and then it came back. It's like, you are 80% fatigue. And I was just like, fine, John. But, like, I beat the game before he unfatigued again. So that was that's how that went. But anyway.
Well, the good news is you have a reason to keep grinding the character because they just released a new update that includes hard mode and more items and other stuff.
Yeah. So, and they're going to have more story stuff come in and new characters and some other stuff soon and online co-op. So, the one complaint I have about that game is they built it, I think, with having two people. In our stream, I think we discussed how different characters are grouped by two. So John, the father, and his daughter Linda go together. Yeah. And then Lucy and what's the cousin's name?
Joey.
Lucy and Joey kind of pair well together. And even in the final fight, there's a moment where you're rescuing some people, and I
really liked that fight.
It was that fight. The final fight is worth the whole price of the game. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
But you're saving people in pairs. And I just remember thinking, I really just wish I could have had an NPC.
Yeah, like a AI partner, yeah.
Yeah, I could have had my partner the whole time. And what would have been even cooler is if you could have switched. What if I could take John and Linda into a chamber, we're fighting together, but then I say, I want to switch to Linda. Or John dies. Maybe I'm playing John and John goes down. I can switch to Linda for a little bit. I don't know. That's my only complaint.
And the programming's in there for friendly NPCs because there are various challenges where you run into some members of the family and you fight alongside them.
Or in the very beginning, the first introduction level, Linda is with you.
Yeah.
So
see, when I played that, that's what I thought was like, oh wait, can I have an AI companion? But
yeah,
no.
That's the only thing I wish about, especially with it not having online co-op yet at launch.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more fun with someone else to play with you. But anyway, what have you been doing, Steven? You've been playing some more of that Valkyria Chronicles, but
been playing a lot of Valkyria Chronicles. Really loving it. Played a lot of Division 2, but you guys know that. Going exotic hunting basically till 2.0 comes out. Episode 3 for Division comes out probably the 18th, so looking forward to that. Been watching Mythbusters again. That's been fun.
Oh, like new Mythbusters or like watching reruns?
Old Mythbusters reruns.
Yeah.
I just love that show.
It's a good show.
And I also watched Lego Masters. Have you seen that yet?
That's the one where people are. It's almost like British Bake Off, but it's
basically a British Bake Off, but with Legos. Yeah. Watch the first episode.
Okay.
It's really good.
All right.
It's literally that where you just have these pairs of these 12 pairs of two, who are like just making Legos, and you've got all the way from like these two old ladies who like one of them even says she's got the big hair and she's just like, my mama always told me the taller the hair, the closer you are to God. and like it's just these two old women that are probably from Texas, and the task that they're given is they had this large like landscape, like a flat landscape table, and it was segmented into squares to where there are like 12 squares. Each team was given one of the squares, and they were all making a theme park. And so they each had to make their own like land in the theme park. And some guys were really creative. There were these two guys who were like from like not Wisconsin, like basically like lumberjacks, wherever you find them. I forget what state they said. But they made like lumberjack land, and so there was this huge mountain with a working roller coaster, and there were like water rides and stuff. And there were these two brothers that they were the best by far. They made Spaceland, which was where it was a Ferris wheel and some other attractions where an alien spacecraft had crashed.
Ooh.
And so they made like aliens like climbing on top of the Ferris wheel, and then like Men in Black agents were chasing them. It was really cool. But then you got these two old ladies from Texas, and they're given 15 hours to work on these segments. Yeah, 15 hours, and that includes brainstorming time.
Wow.
And when the time gets down to like 7 hours, one of the brickmasters is what they call them, basically employees for the Lego Corporation that design sets. So they're like literally the Lego experts. One of them comes up to these ladies, and one of them's just like, we were going with ducks for the theme. We were just going to do a bunch of duck rides, but now my partner over here is just like, I don't want to do the ducks. So the guy's like, hey, you guys have 7 hours left. Maybe if the ducks aren't working out, try something new. And so they had to like completely scrap it, but to their credit, they figured it out, and there wasn't a single duck in the final product.
Can I just say,
and there's this other...
I need you to employ your old Texas woman accent a lot more. Like that needs to go into a regular repertoire for you.
I need more on my repertoire, so I'll make sure that happens. There's this other group that were like, I don't know if they were like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or just like partners or whatever, but they were both artists. They both called themselves artists, but they never worked together before. Oh, and so they're making like this Candyland park, and the guy is just such a jerk to this girl, but like a passive aggressive jerk, where like she's saying like, hey, we need to get an attraction for this park, like a working ride, so we can impress the judges, and he just goes, I've never done that, so that's on you to figure out. And then he'd laugh like, haha, like, it's okay because I laughed at the mean thing that I said. Like he just, they had like 30 minutes left, and she was like, I can't get these bumper cars to work. And he was just like, well, that sounds like a you problem.
No, it is definitely an us problem. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's kind of how. But it's a really fun show. Will Arnett, the voice of Lego Batman, is the host, and he's pretty funny.
Excellent choice.
And it's literally just like the British Bake Off, but with Legos. It's so wonderful.
That's awesome. That's a lot of fun. I'll also interject here. We have reached a turning point in My Hero Academia. If you and Anna would like to catch up,
it's on our list.
The anime intro has changed.
Oh, that's the official marker. Got it.
That is the official marker of we are in the back half of this season.
Act 2 has begun.
Act 2, if you will. So
yeah.
you're clear to at least watch through Act 1, but do whatever you want. But anyway, love that show. Still good. And I really need Funimation to get their act together. I am 2 weeks behind, and it hurts. It really hurts. It hurts me. It pains me strongly. But I understand.
You'll get over it.
I will. Yeah. I'll live through. At least now I've got an episode right. I couldn't watch for 2 weeks because of issues, but now I'm at least getting to watch stuff now, so we're good. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of ChortleCast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at ChortleGames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment. If you're on Facebook, you're at Chortle Games on Facebook. You can also like this video, leave us a comment, follow us on the page. We also have a Twitch channel that this doesn't go on to anymore, but hey, if you follow us on there, we might can start scheduling things on there. That's Chortle_Games on Twitch. You can help us out by doing all that. You can also help us out by joining our Discord. If you want to keep up with us throughout the week, you can do that through the description of this video. We post memes. Apparently we talk about World War I. I don't know. Steven, did you catch a bunch of that?
I mean, I caught it, but I didn't get involved.
I didn't either. There's a big World War I discussion in there. I don't know. Somebody must be doing a paper on World War I or something. I don't know how we got there. But anyway, we do all sorts of fun stuff in there. But most importantly, we let you know when we're going live and what we're going to be playing. Sometimes we let people vote on what we're doing at different times, yada, 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 whatever. But the podcast is not the only thing we do. The podcast airs every Monday at 12 o'clock Central Time. But this week is special because it is a forward-compatible week. So actually, right after this, we're going to have the preview of Tower Crashers. Is that right?
Castle Crashers.
Tower
Breakers.
Look, I'm just here, okay?
Fortress Fallers.
Anyway, Castle Crashers. We're going to have the preview of that. And then all week long, that's what what Steven's going to be streaming with Anna. And maybe some other guests because it's a 4-player game. So just stay tuned to that. Follow us on the Discord. That's the best way to know when when things are going to be happening. But of course, you can also subscribe to us here on YouTube and on Facebook. And again, if you prefer to watch us on Twitch, Chortle_Games on Twitch, we'll be live streaming there, or should be, right? Are you going to be able to go to that?
That is yet to be determined because this will be the first time we've done forward compatible with a console.
Okay.
When I get home today, finally, as of recording this is going to be my deciding factor whether it's going to be played on Switch or PS4. Is if I can get the Elgato to finally work.
Okay. All right.
If I can, it's going to be on Switch and it'll be on all platforms. If I can't, we're just going to have to do what we can and it'll just be on YouTube through PlayStation.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, anyway, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the best way to keep up with that for this week. But anyway, you can expect that to be most of the streams this week. If Steven finishes in time, I will probably be doing a Friday night dream stream. So
see your dreams come true.
See your dreams come true.
Dream,
the dream stream. I had a dream. Did you dream too? The dream
you
stream.
Dream, I dream. We all dream of Chortle Games live. With dreams.
I dreamed a stream in time gone by. Anyway, Friday might happen.
I streamed a dream in time gone by.
Hey, look, that was a pretty good one, all right? My Les Mis fans probably got that one. So, Anyway.
I actually caught that was a Les Mis quote. I've never even seen Les Mis.
I'm proud of you, Steven. I'm really proud of you. I mean, I don't know that I've ever been more fucking proud of you than right now in this moment.
Cool. Bye, guys.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.